back to another episode of First Timer Friday. I am Michele with Fun and Key West. And on Fridays, we explore some interesting things that you may not thought about doing in Key West. So it's not just for first timers, it's for anybody that's ever been to Key West. And I hope I give you guys some ideas to check out the next time you are in Key West. So today we are talking all about kayaking. Have you been kayaking in Key West? Raise your hand. I have. I loved it. Here's what I loved about kayaking in Key West. As I've said before in some of these other episodes, I am not the strongest swimmer. I am not very comfortable being in deep water unless I'm on a boat. So being in a kayak in very deep water makes me a little bit nervous. But kayaking in Key West isn't as doesn't make me nervous because most of the waters are very shallow and you can see amazing things and you know it's all around you. And there are so many different experiences that you can have. The kayaking in Key West and around the Florida Keys is not only for beginners, it's experienced kayakers and everybody. It's anybody looking for that unique experience to spend their time in Key West doing. Why would you kayak in Key West? Well, first off, it's paradise. Why not? Get out on the water, explore it, see what's out there. There's those crystal clear waters, they're shallow. And what I found interesting when I was kayaking around was all of the diversity underneath the water. Some areas you saw certain things, other areas you saw other things, and it wasn't like you were going to see the same thing everywhere. So that was really cool. I mean, you saw sea turtles, I saw tropical fish, little small sharks, sea cucumbers, everything that you can imagine, I was able to see on a kayak. Additionally, Key West is so close to the Key West National Wildlife Refuge and Curry Hammock State Park. Those are places that you should check out. If you are bringing your own kayak down to the Keys, those are definitely places you should check out. There are different areas around Key West that you can explore. I would highly recommend going out on a kayaking tour. They're going to take you into the areas they know. They're going to tell you all about what you're seeing, what you're going to experience, and you can ask questions of your guide so you can learn more as you go through. There are these amazing tunnels. I'm going to call them a tunnel, a maze that you can go through in the mangroves. And depending on how long your kayaking tour is, you can get you feel like you're getting lost in these mangrove tunnels, but the guide knows exactly where he's going, and it's so fun. You get to see the local wildlife, the birds that are hanging out on the mangroves. You get to see all the fish, and of course, everything that's happening in the water and all of that. Honest Eco and Lazy Dog offer some really great experience. Honest Eco is a kayaking tour that was started by, I believe, a couple marine biologists. So they're going to know their way around the waters for sure. And of course, Lazy Dog has been around forever, and they're just a great place to come out and do things with. Going up the Keys, there are other places that you can check out, Sugarloaf Key and other places in the lower Keys. These are great places to explore, especially if you have your own kayak. There's some great natural habitats that you're going to see, the sea turtles and those smaller sharks. It's going to be easy to paddle around in that area because there's going to be less boat traffic, and it's still going to be very shallow waters. You have Cottrell Key, and you're going to see coral reefs through there. You're going to see all those coral reef formations as you paddle through the waters. It's a great place to see all of the marine life. I'm going to keep repeating that, and you're going to keep saying, Michele, you've told us that. What I'm overwhelmed by is every time I go out on the water, just how much you can see. It's not like you see it in one area. You can see marine life wherever you are exploring. A lot of the places that you would want to explore in the lower Keys outside of Key West, especially if you have your own kayak, would be by taking it out to a boat and then going out into the shallow waters to explore. Again, you could talk to a charter boat captain, see if they offer that. If not, you could figure that out. If you're a little more experienced and you don't have that fear of being in really deep water, Kayaking around the 7 Mile Bridge, going around into the Gulf of Mexico, is, from what I understand, an amazing experience. I have seen people do it. It's just something that is not on my bucket list, but if it is on your bucket list, be sure to check it out. It's a little bit more adventurous. You are going to have more choppy waters because of all the boat traffic. It's deeper water, but you're going to see the experience of the kayaking around the bridge and doing all those other things that you don't do and cannot experience in the more shallow waters. Of course, way up in Key Largo, you can kayak out in Key Largo. A lot of the resorts in Key Largo and in the mid Keys there offer kayaks as part of their amenities so that you can go explore the waters. I'm telling you, we've stayed at a couple places and that was one of their amenities. And that was one of the reasons why we chose that place so that we could get out and explore the kayaking, the waters on kayak around those resorts. If you are bringing your own kayaks down, there are lots of kayak launch sites up and down the Keys. And so just be sure to notice where they are. Sometimes they're located with boat ramps, sometimes they're not, but just be sure to check them out. If you are going to come in and do a kayaking tour, again, I mentioned that you've got the mangrove tunnels and those mangrove tours. Some are 2 hours, some are 3 hours. It just depends on what's offered. But you can do clear kayak tours. And some folks offer these clear kayak tours where the kayak is actually clear. You can see through it. It's kind of weird to paddle with that, but it gives you the ability, instead of leaning over and looking, that you can actually look down and see what's happening. A very unique experience, especially in the shallow waters around Key West. They also, some tour companies offer night kayak tours, and this lets you explore the waters. You've got the moon, you've got the sun, or not the sun, the moon and the stars. And depending on the time of month, it could be a full moon, which would be really cool, right? This lets you spot some of those baby nurse sharks and that bioluminescent life, that really cool shimmering stuff that you see on the water. That's all that bioluminescent life that's over there. I think Honest Eco still offers those. Again, you can do a private boat trip, bring your own kayak, and do all those exploring. As with fishing, or any time that you want to go out on the water, there's a good time to go out on the water, and there's a better time to go out on the water. Is there really a bad time to go out on the water? Well, yeah, I mean, when the weather's really bad, but depending on your experience level, the best times to go out on a kayak would be early morning or late afternoon, because the waters are going to be a little more calm, and it's going to allow, especially if you're a beginner like me, the ability to move through those waters a little bit better. And depending on the time of year, it could be a little cooler, so it's not so hot. You're also going to gauge when you go out for high tide and low tide, because that's going to give you that pull or push depending on when you're coming in. I talked about this. You can rent, well, I haven't talked about this, but you can go out on a kayak tour. But some companies allow you to rent a kayak and not go on a tour, but just rent a kayak. And so if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to check that out, where you can go, where they recommend, and everything like that. Be sure, I recommend, and most tour companies recommend, that you wear a life jacket and that you bring some dry bags, zippy bags that you can put your mobile phone in, your cameras and all of that in, and maybe a snack or two. Again, can't stress enough, wear your life jacket. You just never know what can happen. The guides are going to tell you this: respect the wildlife. No touching the manatees, no touching the fish and the coral reefs, because that disturbs them and disturbs their ecosystem. And so that's some things that you can check out. I don't know if you guys have actually been kayaking in Key West or in the Florida Keys, but I think it's something amazing that you guys should check out. I always want to drop in some little tidbits and ideas of what you can do when in Key West. As we said a long time ago when we started Fun in Key West, people are amazed at the amount of things that you can do in Key West. It's not a place that you come and you're going to do it all in a weekend. It's going to take a long time to do it all, and everything changes. So a sunset tour today. Oh, speaking of that, you can actually do kayak tours where you go at sunrise or sunset. So be sure to check those out as well. But a sunrise and a sunset are totally different every day. It's going to depend on the sun, the sky, where you are, how you're seeing it. Are you on water? Are you on land? Are you on a sunset sail? Everything's different. It's just a way to explore the world around you. And speaking of exploring, there's so much to explore over at FunInKeyWest.com. Be sure to check that out. Lots of ideas on where to stay, where to eat, where to drink, and obviously things to do. Plus, you can book tours right there on our site with some of the trusted travel partners we work with, and it's no extra cost to you. We get a little bit of a commission, which supports us, and we really appreciate that. I am Michelle with Fun in Key West. This has been First Timer Friday, and we've talked about best kayaking in Key West. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.